Everybody ready? Everybody ready? All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Soon we're going to hear from Commissioner Outlaw to give remarks about last week's tragic shooting that happened outside of Roxborough High School. After the Commissioner's remarks, she's going to be followed by our captain of the Homicide Unit, Captain Jason Smith. We just ask that you wait till the end for all of your questions. Thank you, folks. Commissioner.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for joining us this evening. As we all know, last week's tragedy outside of Roxborough High School has shaken our city to its core. And today, a family was forced to do the unimaginable. They were forced to begin to memorialize their 14-year-old child, 14. As we continue to extend our deepest condolences to the family of Nicholas Elidolzi and all of the victims of this heinous crime, we give our word to the survivors and their families that we will not rest until the cowards responsible for this are taken into custody. Today we have some information to share about how, along with our partners, we're getting closer to making that a reality. But before I turn it over to Captain Jason Smith, our commanding officer of our homicide unit, I want to make something perfectly clear, very clear to the people responsible for committing this crime. Do the right things and turn yourself in. Right now, several floors below me in this building, a group of PPD investigators have been working tirelessly to bring not only you, but every perpetrator for every violent crime that's happened in this city to justice. And it's not just here in this building. All across this city, our local, state, federal partners have been working with us, with the men and the women in this police department, to be laser focused on investigating and apprehending those who seek to harm the people who live, work, and play in our city. And I want to personally thank each and every one of these professionals, especially our partners at the ATF and ADA Joanne Pescatore, who's the chief of homicide at the Philadelphia District Attorney's Office, for their unwavering commitment to justice. They are absolutely the best of the best at what they do. So I'll say it again, turn yourselves in. We know who you are, and you're just delaying the inevitable. And all you're doing by hiding is continuing to re-victimize the families of those that you harmed, and your very own as well. To those who know who's responsible or even have information about what happened, let me tell you this. If you can't convince them to turn themselves in, share what you know with us. We have the ability for you to call us by using our anonymous tip line, 215-686-TIPS, 215-686-8477, and you can give us information that way. But if you think that you're helping those responsible, you're wrong. I find it beyond unnerving to find that our children continue to be caught up in serious crimes, whether they're perpetrating the crimes or they themselves are becoming victims. There is an entire generation of our children who are beginning to believe that street life is the only way to go. There's an entire generation of children who believe that the only way to settle a score is by bringing a gun into the equation. And what these kids don't realize, unfortunately, is that some of the solutions that they're coming up with, they're final. This is the end for them. There's no going back. They're ruining their futures, and they're ruining families. It's not a movie. It's not a video game. It's not for fun on social media. This is real, and it needs to stop. Captain Smith.
Thank you, Commissioner. Good afternoon, everyone. All right, so as it pertains to the murder of Nicholas Elizalde, which occurred on September 27th at 4700 block of Peacham behind Roxborough High School, the District Attorney's Office has approved charges for murder, conspiracy, VUFA, 4 counts of aggravated assault, 4 counts of simple assault, and 4 counts of reckless endangering another person on our suspect, Dayron Bernie Thorne. Mr. Bernie Thorne is 16 years old. With that, I'm going to open up the questions. No comment.
On the video, there's one team that is significantly heavier than the other teams. Is that the team?
I can't answer that question either. You got to remember, folks, there are still 4 other suspects, all right? So we believe, 5 other suspects, all right? 4 shooters, but we know that there was one person that was inside the vehicle. I'm sorry, Joe, I don't want to specifically say whether we think that was Mr. Bernie Thorne or not at this point in time. So there's a whole lot of investigative work that still needs to be done.
Do we know if they're all teenagers or they're all young people?
All right, so we have developed 7 other persons of interest, all right, 8 total, and we're in the process of vetting those persons of interest, all right? So we believe that some or most of them are going to turn out to be our suspects responsible for this heinous crime. Well, let me finish answering Christian's question. So yes, they're going to be a combination of juveniles and adults.
Teenagers, is that appropriate to say, or?
Yes, yeah, they're either going to be teenagers or young adults.
Commissioner, you're talking sort of rationally almost, saying, come on, turn yourself in. These are 16-year-olds who were firing guns down the street. Aren't they past that point of being talked to and just come in and turn themselves in?
I think there's a yes and no. Yes and no, because you'd be surprised with young people that are still attached to families or guardians or people that get in their ear that they trust. I never lose hope that there's someone that can convince them to do the right thing and turn themselves in. But I also want to make it very clear that if they don't, we know who they are, and we have the tools in place to make sure that we will find them, and we will do it swiftly. So this isn't about being soft on killers or soft on them because they're juveniles. We have to recognize that consequences have to, 1, exist. They need to be proportionate, but we're giving them the opportunity to turn themselves in right now, today. And if that doesn't happen, we're coming for them.
But surely this isn't your first time reaching out to this individual, Thorne, because here we are.
Well, these charges were just announced today. All this stuff is new. All this stuff is fresh. Most of these charges were approved today. So this is still ongoing. And again, I don't want to get too far down in the weeds, but we have several individuals that we are looking at right now. So the information that we shared with you today about the charges around this one person, this is all new today.
Commissioner, do we believe that all 8 people were there at that scene? Were all 8 people present outside Roxborough High School?
I'm sorry. What does that have to do with what we're talking about today?
Because the picture that you have of him, it's not his driver's license picture, it's not his yearbook picture. This is an individual that we can infer you have this photo from another crime, correct?
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. And again, there's varying levels of crime, and whatever happened in the previous circumstances, that has nothing to do with us. My concern is that we make arrests, and we do these arrests swiftly, and we get them and we hand them over for prosecution and for charging. What happened in the past, that has nothing to do with us.
Were all 8 present at Roxborough High School? The 7 persons of interest and your suspect?
So you are currently looking into that, Joe? All right, so we have 7 other persons of interest. This is beside our suspect. All right, so we obtained the arrest warrant earlier today, charging him with murder and related offenses. Okay?
Like, what evidence can you share with us that places him?
I'm not at liberty at this time to delve into all the evidence that we have. It's a combination of things. We have video evidence. We have 2 suspect vehicles. We have a gray Chevy Impala that we recovered. All right, so that vehicle was being used to chauffeur the shooters back and forth to that 2020 Ford Explorer. So you may have not had that information. Now, we believe that there were a total of 6 persons, but we received information. We have information on 8. You understand? So we're attempting to pare that down, Walt, right now at the present time. We want to get it down to 6. That's correct, because we have different pieces of information are going to connect those persons of interest to the crime. Okay, so we're in the process of vetting that information, and then we'll be paring that list down.
Now, according to
They were leaving the Ford Explorer somewhere, but I can't get into that.
What about level of planning? It sounds like this was planned out.
Yes, yeah, this was definitely a well-orchestrated shooting. It really was. These individuals were being very careful to not leave their identifiers where they could. No, the motive, no, that's unclear at this time. We really don't. I know there was speculation that there was a lunchroom altercation that occurred earlier that day. So we're still in the process of seeing whether that is in fact going to be the motive. We just don't know.
And of the 8, how many of them do you believe are connected to other crimes that have happened recently?
Yes, we're looking into the possibility whether they are connected to other shooting incidents.
How many other shootings?
I'm not at liberty to say that.
More than one?
More than one, yes.
More than 5?
More than one.
At this point, Captain, the ATF has been mentioned here, obviously the Philadelphia Police Department. U.S. Marshals also assist?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, the FBI, the ATF, the U.S. Marshals, they've been fabulous. U.S. Marshals are currently helping us to apprehend the suspect right now as we speak. Right. Yeah, the Impala was actually recovered at 25th and Willard on yesterday's date at 8:30 p.m.
Was there any evidence in the person of interest to confirm the suspect? Any evidence that was recovered from that?
No, we had them way before that. We just recovered that yesterday.
So how many, and forgive me if I'm asking, you've already answered this, but so how many people of this age do you have in custody at this point? And how many are you?
We have none in custody at this point. We just have an arrest warrant obtained.
And did you ever have any of them in custody at some point by a member of the Philadelphia Police Department since this shooting took place?
No comment.
Can you provide descriptions of the other suspects involved?
Well, you've seen the surveillance tape, right? So there's your physical description right there. I mean, I don't want to get into a whole breakdown and,
All right, folks, we have time for one more question.
Commissioner, it also sounds like you were talking to the parents a little bit in what you were saying prior to Captain Smith. Could parents potentially, have you guys thought about maybe having parents face charges as well for harboring? I know U.S. Marshals can do that on a different level. If it's a fugitive in there, that could be a federal charge for them. Is there a message you want to get out?
And I think that's a part of it, and that's what I meant by, if you think that you're helping, you're wrong, right? Because we go after every angle with this. We let you know that we know who you are. You have time to do the right thing. It's not much time, but you have time to do the right thing and turn yourself in. But if you know that you're harboring a criminal, if you know that you have information about, about this crime, and we find that out, there's absolutely, yes, the possibility of going that angle and bringing charges. What those charges would be, I wouldn't be able to specify that now, but there's absolutely the possibility of bringing charges as an accessory to this murder and this crime, and maybe even others.
And there's a possibility, would you support?
Absolutely, I would support that. And again, that's what I mean. I want to be very clear here. All of this information came out today, but we're not messing around. We're tired of our children being shot. We're tired of our children being victimized, and we're not sitting on our hands waiting for pieces of evidence to fall out of the sky. The captain's investigators have been working around the clock. When I mentioned that we work with our local, state, and federal partners, that's also done around the clock. When we've been able to announce arrests in other cases, it's been with the help of the U.S. Marshals, it's been with the help of the resources of the FBI, the ATF, sometimes the DEA. Just because you don't hear about it regularly doesn't mean that folks aren't constantly working to bring folks to justice. So I very seriously mean that we are pulling out every stop and utilizing every resource, whether it's credible messengers through people that they trust, that these suspects trust, to get them to bring themselves in while we're simultaneously putting these cases together, or other law enforcement means. But again, we take this very, very seriously, and I'm sick and tired of every time I have to come before you guys and tell you about yet another young person or victim, period, that's been shot or lost their lives.
remains to be seen.
Yeah,
So, remains to be seen.
it remains to be seen, and, again, we need witnesses to come forward. Evidence is great. It's also great when it's corroborated and, it's tangible, and we have things that when we present it, we can get a solid case, and that's what we want to do. So it's not like we're being tight-lipped, to be nefarious. We're being tight-lipped to preserve the integrity of our investigation, and then to also make sure that we're not flagging or telescoping to the folks that we're looking for everything that we know about them so they can get rid of the evidence before we get it in our possession. So we're hopeful, again, that this will come together soon, along with other cases that our folks have been working very diligently upon.
All right, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.